In 1980, XTC were all over the musical map, getting into weirdness, getting into experimental music, getting into anthemic rock, and also getting into minimal wave, cold wave. On one track, anyway, I'm talking about the Somnambulist. It was the B-side of the Generals and Majors maxi single.
Untie the gown, float to the ground. She revolved round, making no sound. Air leaving slow, still breathing though. Decaying through ground, diving she's bound. Hours swim down, treasure unfound. Air leaving slow, still breathing though. Somnambulist, 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 somnambulist. You're leaving slow, still breathing though.
That fade out was the most beautiful part of it, but I also really liked that harmonic tone. Anyway, it faded in very slowly with this heartbeat, and then this like bassy horn-like synth melody, very low, formed the track, and it was first doubled with a hum, and then echoed by a very, for these guys anyway, uncharacteristic monotone, low vocal. It must have been Partridge. As a matter of fact, I'm wondering if he's the only actual member of the band who's playing on this. If this, engineered by Lawrence Barrage. Yeah, I'm thinking this is from a totally different recording session than the other. It like the other tracks on the Generals and Majors double single are engineered by Hugh Padgham, produced by Steve Lillywhite. Lawrence Berard, I'm wondering if this might actually be an outtake from Take Away the Lure of Salvage, the album that Partridge put out as Mr. Partridge. Like the beat in this doesn't sound like, sounds like something he could have just done himself, you know, like tapped out on some makeshift instrument. It doesn't really sound like Terry Chambers to me. Anyway, yeah, and then we had this like echoey harmonic electro tone that was dropping in. And then I noted akin to something, a sound heard on Take Away the Lure of Salvage on some of those tracks, like that last track in particular, where it goes dun 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 dun, like that melody that comes in and like takes over the track. And it like sprinkles and then crashes and sustain over and over again. And meanwhile, there was this sustained mid-tone synth that was shimmering in and out over that really low bassy melody. And then we had this solo with this higher countertone and melody. And the crashing sound became more rhythmic and measured, sounding off on every eighth beat. And then it played like that till things gradually faded out. And it became just kind of the sum of its parts just kind of built and just got more like luminous and atmospheric and compelling as it went along. And I just loved the final moment of it the most. Yeah, The Somnambulist by XTC, or more likely by Andy Partridge. A rather obscure, tucked away track that originally saw the light of day on their 1980 Virgin single for Generals and Majors, backed with Don't Lose Your Temper, yeah, on side D of the double 7-inch. That also include the non-album tracks Don't Lose Your Temper and Smokeless Zone. Those were released in Canada on the Five Senses EP that scooped up some non-album stuff from around this time, but not this one. Yeah, I don't recall hearing. I didn't get my hand on this until I went over to the UK the first time, and one of the things I did was stock up on all these these non-album singles from the new wave era. And I knew that XTC were one of those bands that had a lot of non-album B-sides. And it was also through that scavenging that I finally got a hold of that Homo Safari series that they had begun around this time, with all those weird instrumentals that were collected on their initial CD issue was on the back of, I think, this 3-inch CD for Dear God. Yeah. That was only released like in Europe or somewhere. Yeah, I never actually, I just got this. Anyway, oh yeah, the Five Senses EP had Smokeless Zone, Officer Blue, Don't Lose Your Temper, Strange Tales, yeah. B-sides from around this time. Oh, and Wait Till Your Boat Goes Down. Yeah, not album single between, but that's a bit more widely available. But yeah, there was almost like an extra album worth of material from this 79, 80 period of the band. Such was their energy and creative overflow of ideas and such, and things that may not have fit onto the album proper. I mean, this being completely unlike anything on the Black Sea album. Oh, I didn't really catch the lyrics. I don't know if they're printed anywhere. But fortunately, this track was put before maybe a slightly different audience for them. It was put on the Machines compilation put out by Virgin. Oh, who else would have known that XTC did a minimal wave song? Yeah, Virgin, their label, along with tracks by Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, the Two-Way Army, the Human League, yeah, early Human League, Bean Boiled, Thomas Lear, Dalek Guy, John Fox, Henry Badowski, Fad Gadget, Gary Newman, the Silicone Teens, yeah, the goofy kind of spoof pop project put together by Daniel Miller after the one great, in the vein of that great Normal single, but applying that sound to just a bunch of goofy covers. And strangely, Public Image Limited, and one Carol Fialka, yeah, yeah. And it's described these days as left field. Some of it anyway. Yeah, great cover of that album has too. Anyway, yeah, XTC got another anomaly they put out that year was the Colonel's single, a ska single. And they even had a track, a rarity that turned up nowhere else, that they recorded especially for the Times Square soundtrack. It was like an RSO double soundtrack that was mostly of new wave acts. And part of like, I guess the last in that line of films that Robert Stigwood was involved in, yeah, after the hat trick, the Travolta hat trick of '78. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, XTC, the Somnambulist, one of their rarest and most oddball tracks, and kind of off the beaten path for them. Anyway. For more Rubies and Sapphires from the XTC catalog, see the directory of albums by English X artists linked in the description below. For Red Hot Tracks and Purples from, well, since there are so few X bands, they're grouped together with the Y and Z. Yeah. Like and subscribe, follow me on social media, share the video, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the track we just heard, the layers, the atmosphere, the lyrics if you caught them, and the overall vibe and luminous, lucid feel of it. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear-traveled trim maximalist, signing off.